Hello and welcome to Workers Comp Unwrapped, the podcast that simplifies workers' compensation for physicians. I'm your host, Max, here to give you clear, actionable insights to navigate the medical legal side of workers' comp. So let's get started. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 23 of Workers Comp Unwrapped with Max and Aisha, who has 15 years of experience in workers' comp industry. Today we are talking about how fostering better communication between providers, adjusters, and attorneys can lead to smoother claims and faster payments. Welcome back, everyone. If you've ever waited for a workers' comp payment, maybe longer than it takes concrete to set, this is definitely for you.
I'm Max, and honestly, the fact we're even doing a deep dive on the basic idea of talking to each other about money and healthcare, it's kind of concerning and maybe a little bit funny in a dark way. Think about it, right? Delayed approvals, payments just disappearing like socks in the laundry. It's systemic chaos. And today, we're not just, venting. We're looking at this truly radical concept. Maybe if the people involved, the doctors, the adjusters, the attorneys, maybe if they actually communicated, we might see, less financial pain, more efficiency. It's almost scandalous, this idea.
It really is. Because let's be honest, in workers' comp, silence isn't golden, it's just unpaid.
Exactly. So, okay, let's get into it. Why does it feel like communication in this industry is stuck on dial-up? You've been in the trenches, seen this mess for years. Why is getting a straight answer so hard? What makes talking between adjusters, attorneys, and providers, such a fail so often?
Okay, well, picture this. It's like a three-legged race, right? But each person wants to run a slightly different way. And maybe they're also juggling flaming torches. That's kind of close. You've got adjusters, and they're often handling, get this, 125 to 175 active claims. That's from WCRI data. It's a huge number.
Wow, seriously.
Yeah, and their main goal, keep costs down, close those files fast. Then you have applicant attorneys. They're focused, laser focused on getting the best settlement for their client. Now, your bills should be part of that picture, but it's not always top of mind for them immediately. And then there's you, the provider. You just want to give good care and, get paid so you can keep the lights on.
Makes sense.
So the breakdown happens because everyone's got their own pressures, their own priorities, and there's no standard way to pass information along reliably. It's like everyone just assumes someone else sent the memo or followed up, and then poof, nothing. And really important details, maybe like that authorization request you sent weeks ago, it just gets lost, vanishes.
So it's basically a system designed for crossed signals. A beautiful mess. But wait, aren't there supposed to be rules? I feel like I heard something about good faith communication. Is that a thing?
Oh, you're absolutely right. That brings us to key insight number 1. California Code of Regulations, Section 10109. It actually mandates that claims folks communicate promptly. And in good faith, that means they have to respond to your inquiries within 14 calendar days.
14 days? Okay. Seems reasonable on paper.
Right. But here's the catch. And this is where the system really shows its cracks. If you, as the provider, don't meticulously document every single time they're late or don't respond at all, well, those violations just evaporate. Nobody notices. Nobody does anything.
Wait.
Yeah. It's like having a rule book, but no ref. Yeah. Unless you yourself wave this massive, perfectly documented red flag, nothing happens. The burden falls entirely on you, the provider, who's already swamped to prove you were ignored.
That is spectacularly unhelpful. Okay, so not only do you deal with the silence, you have to become a meticulous record keeper of the silence just to maybe get someone to acknowledge it.
Wow. Okay, so we've established why the communication train goes off the rails constantly. Let's pivot. Solutions. Where are the moments, the critical points in this whole process where actually talking, communicating better can save real time and money? Where does a little chat make a big difference?
Okay, there are definitely 3 key stages where better communication is, like a game changer. First one, treatment authorization. Think UR, utilization review, and RFAs. Request for authorization, instead of just sending off that RFA into the void and, hoping.
Praying. Exactly.
Try a quick pre-call. Talk to the adjuster before submitting. Maybe flag missing info, clarify something. You can head off denials right there. It's about being proactive, not reactive. Okay, proactive. Makes sense. What's next?
Second stage, lien filing and negotiation. This is where so much money gets lost or just chopped down for providers. You need to actively talk to the applicant attorneys, especially when you know settlement talks are heating up. This helps make sure your liens is actually in the discussion, not just tacked on at the end, or worse, forgotten.
Right, don't be an afterthought.
Precisely. And the third point, dispute resolution. Look, before you jump straight to filing formal appeals for billing issues or payment problems, which takes forever and helps nobody quickly try a direct call, just pick up the phone, try to clarify the issue. Often, that direct conversation cuts through the red tape much, much faster.
So the secret isn't more forms, it's actual human conversation. Wild. But you mentioned stats, right, about lien disputes and communication failures.
Oh, absolutely. This is key insight number 2. Data from the California DWC, the Division of Workers' Compensation. It shows that over 30%, think about that, nearly a third of all lien and disputes that end up in the formal system, they happen because of bad communication. Or no communication at all.
30%, just from not talking.
Yep. Between providers and adjusters or providers and attorneys, almost a third of those fights could potentially be avoided. So early communication isn't just like being nice. It saves serious time and money for everyone involved.
Okay, sold. Talking is good. Revolutionary, I know. But for listeners out there, the provider's drowning in paperwork, ignored emails. What can they actually do today? Give us some concrete strategies. How do they fight back against the silence without just adding more admin work they don't have time for? What's the playbook?
All right, here's your fact-based playbook. Strategy 1. Get direct contacts day 1. First time you see that patient, make it policy. Get the direct name, phone number, and email for the specific adjuster on that claim.
Not the 1-800 black hole number.
Exactly. Forget those generic lines. You need the person. Strategy 2. Document everything in writing. Got a verbal okay from an adjuster? Great. Immediately send a quick email confirming what was agreed upon. Put it on the record. And remember, California Code of Regulations Section 9792.9.1 says documented verbal authorizations hold up. They're enforceable. So create that trail. It's your best defense.
Your paper trail is your shield. Got it.
Strategy 3. Be a settlement sleuth. Don't just sit back and wait for the applicant attorney to maybe call you about a settlement.
Hope is not a strategy here.
Not at all. You need to proactively reach out, ask for updates, make sure your lien is on their radar before they sign anything.
Okay. And strategy 4.
Consider bringing in backup, lien management experts. Companies like MLM, they specialize in this stuff. They already have relationships with adjusters and attorneys. They know the game. They can often speed things up, handle the back and forth, and take that communication burden off your plate.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Basically, treat every phone call, every email like it's Exhibit A. Right, let's hit some real-world questions. We asked listeners for their biggest frustrations. Ready for the hot seat?
Let's do it. Bring on the truth.
Okay, first one. My adjuster seems to change constantly, like every month. How am I supposed to keep track of who to even talk to? It's musical chairs, but with claim files.
Yeah, that's a really common frustration. High turnover is definitely a thing, often because of those insane caseloads we talked about.
Right, 175 claims?
Exactly. So the best defense here is, honestly, persistence. Make it a habit, maybe monthly, to just verify who the current adjuster is, call the claims administrator, and crucially, document every single handoff. Date you found out, new name, new contact info. Keep a running log for each claim. It's tedious, but vital.
So, more documentation. Fun. Okay, next. Can I just rely on the applicant attorney to tell me when the case settles so I can sort out my lien? Logically, it seems like they should, right?
Logically, yes. Reliably, not always. Look, their main job, their ethical duty, is to their client, the injured worker, and getting their settlement finalized. Making sure your lien is paid in full might be, a secondary thought sometimes. Or maybe it gets negotiated down without you even knowing until it's too late.
Ouch.
Yeah, so you absolutely cannot just sit back and wait. You have to be proactive. Call the attorney's office regularly. Ask about settlement status. Keep your lien front and center.
Don't assume, verify. Got it. Question 3. When should I start the lien negotiation process? Right after treatment ends.
Ideally, yes. As soon as treatment is done, start those conversations. However, if you hear whispers or get solid info that settlement talks are already happening before treatment is even finished, jump in then.
Sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. Early engagement usually gives you better leverage. Your lien is part of the initial money discussion, not something squeezed in at the end. Don't wait.
Okay, here's a tough one. What if the adjuster just flat out ignores me? Ghosted. Calls, emails, nothing. Do I just give up?
No. Absolutely not. Radio silence is not acceptable, especially when there are regulations about response times. If you have documented proof, there's that documentation again that an adjuster is consistently ignoring you, disregarding those statutory deadlines for claims handling.
Like the 14-day rule.
Exactly. You can, and probably should, file a formal complaint with the DWC audit unit. They investigate failures to comply with regulations. It's a way to escalate and force them to respond. Don't be afraid to use that tool.
Good to know there's an escalation path. Okay,
Yeah.
last one. circling back, how does a lien management service, like MLM you mentioned, actually help with this communication disaster?
Well, think of them as like specialized communication facilitators. They deal with adjusters and attorneys all day, every day. So they build relationships. They know who responds to what, who to call, how to push things forward. That relationship piece is huge.
Right, they speak the language.
They do. And they track all those critical deadlines for you. They push for resolutions before things blow up into formal litigation, which saves everyone time and money. And honestly, they just take that communication burden, the constant calls, the follow-ups, the paperwork chase off your staff's shoulders, so your team can focus on patience, not playing phone tag.
Makes sense. Delegate the headache. Okay, so the big takeaway here feels like being passive is basically asking for delays and less money.
That sums it up pretty well. Passivity is poison in this system.
Any final words of wisdom for providers feeling totally maxed out by this communication black hole?
Be your own strongest advocate. Document everything like your payment depends on it, because it often does. Don't hesitate to escalate when the rules aren't being followed. And seriously, look into resources like Lien and management firms, MLM included, if this is overwhelming your practice. You deserve to get paid for the work you do without needing a private investigator license.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Fantastic insights. And for all of you listening, remember this. In the weird, wild world of workers' comp, hearing nothing from an adjuster, that is not good news. It's a big, flashing red flag screaming for your attention. Until our next deep dive into this crazy system, stay proactive, stay documented, and please try talking to each other.
Yes, please do.
And maybe, get a good supply of antacids.
Just thinking ahead.
Thank you for listening to Workers Comp Unwrapped. If you found value in today's episode, share it with your fellow medical providers and healthcare specialists. For more information, contact us at lena.klein@medicallienmgt.com or visit our website, medicallienmgt.com.